welcome everyone. So today I have Adrian joining us. Adrian and I met in Cape Town, and he's actually a 10-year digital nomad who has, get this, been to every single country in the world, which is incredible, impressive. And what he's going to talk about is he's built a system that generates entire location-based mystery games, which include a story, characters, images, voiceovers, a city map, all of these intricacies in about 10 minutes per game. So what we're going to talk about today is why he spun this up, the business model behind it that he intends to deploy, but also how he made it easy to generate each game in 10 minutes, the infrastructure behind it. So that's some of the context that we're going to cover today. And so welcome, Adrian.
Thank you very much, Charlene. Nice to be here with your audience.
All right, so let's jump into it. So tell me, when we met in Cape Town, you were doing a lot of vibe coding. You were vibe coding a lot of different tools. And just for everyone listening, when Adrian and I met, I did a session on AI, and then Adrian and I met a couple of times, and he was showing me all these amazing things he's vibe coding. So tell me how you landed on kind of this range of projects, and how did you land specifically on games? Because you've come a really long way in the last couple of months with games.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I was relatively new to vibe coding. I started only this year, and in Cape Town, you inspired me to dig deeper. Actually, I wasn't sure that I want to do so much with AI. I use AI like everyone else, but it was natural and not like coding and building apps at that time. And then you inspired me, and I wanted to try it out, and I got some ideas talking with my sister Natalie, and I tried the first version of a game working with her to like. She had an idea to build something, and that the first version didn't really work out. So then we tried something else now, that is this murder mystery game. That's really the story. The idea is coming from my sister, because she has a business in Switzerland, and she is writing murder mysteries herself manually, and she is organizing events where she invites people for a dinner or for a walk in the city, and then play a murder mystery with real actors. And it's really cool, because with the actors, the experience is physical. It's 1, 2, 3 hours experience. That is so cool. And she told me that she tried AI to write stories, but it's not possible to give AI the whole task of writing a story. The outcome wasn't that good. But since I'm a digital nomad, I've been to hundreds of cities around the world. And I saw how there is potential to transfer what she is doing in our home in Switzerland in other cities around the world. In Cape Town, where we've met, it would be so interesting to have a murder story and then go to places and investigate yourself. So bringing these ideas together, I thought, okay, using that technology that I tried, thanks to you, Charlene, I tried just the first attempt to build something, and it got better and better. So in the end, we have the result that we have right now. That is really exciting, and I'm super happy to talk about with you today.
That's great. That's a great story, and I'm glad that some of those conversations, those sessions inspired you to go deeper with AI. I think the game use case, so most people listening probably, I don't know, I think many are creating, software applications. I think games are really unique. And I think when we've talked about it, there's two things that I think you're doing that are really unique. One is that you've built this kind of infrastructure to make it easy to generate each game. And so each game takes 10 minutes, and the complexity of a game, which I think hopefully we'll be able to show, is like characters and voices and animations and all these things. So if you're open to showing us a little bit, could you show us like what it actually takes when you build each individual game?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was never the idea to build this backend and infrastructure. I just wanted to create the game in the first place, and then I really enjoy this vibe coding with using Lovable app. We will look into that in a detail shortly. But for me, I got addictive to work with that, because I can give instructions, and then it takes just a few seconds, 2 minutes, and I can build more and more. So I got into it, and it was really fun. So I'm happy to share some insights on how it looks like and what I've built, so that the audience can get some ideas what I'm doing actually. So this is the home screen when you visit the game itself, like on play.detective.games. And since I'm signed in as an admin, I can go to the admin panel where I have a lot of information. Like this whole backend is it grew exponentially, also because of necessity, because I saw the need to build more and more functionality, to have more influence, because AI generation is like the content creation using AI is cool, but then it makes mistakes, and you need to have an influence in it. You need to give instructions. You need to correct content and what it creates. So I built more and more of these functionalities. For example, here we see the story overview, like stories that I already created. And now the big magic that I built was the story generator. So I created my own interface to create a new story from scratch. And we can actually do a live example right now. We can give some instructions what kind of a story to build, and then it will run through roughly 10 minutes. I never exactly stop the time, so I'm not sure how long it takes. But after 10 minutes, we have a case that we can actually play. So it's a bit risky doing this here in the podcast, but I would like to show how we can actually do this. So
Let's try it out.
it would be nice to choose the city we met in Cape Town, but unfortunately I haven't created the city yet. So what I have is I have Lisbon, where I am right now, and we could just give instructions. For example, we could say that we had an AI conference with podcast, and then one of these participants was found dead. So it's always revolving around a murder. So this some idea we could write down here. So I'm writing that instruction in typing it into the briefing. And I I even selected the location and said that the dead body was found in that square of commerce. So then it will create the story even with the location, the points, and in the end we will see how well this turns out.
Okay, so
And
you're gonna hit go. Okay, I'm looking.
Exactly,
Okay,
and
so it's running now.
And now it started, so it goes step by step through. So because the whole story, like the whole murder mystery, is a bit complicated, a complex thing, it takes several steps, and I broke down the whole creation. Otherwise, it would explode, or it would run out of time. So the first step is writing the story itself, and that's like just creating an idea of like what happened, who was involved, like what's the setting, the setup. And as you
And
can
Adrian,
see in the
can I
list,
stop you for 1 second there and say, can you tell us, because this is a really interesting part that I think people will be interested in. We talked about the built on Lovable, but you have APIs into a lot of other image generation. We talked about ElevenLabs. We talked about these other things that are incorporated. Uh, could you, when you talk through each of these elements that's running, could you just share what tools or API calls or different services are being used as part of it?
yes, absolutely. As you can see, it already went through the first 3 points that belong very strongly together: the story, the characters, and the evidence. This is the core story part, and that is this is mostly text generated with Lovable AI, and that is built on Claude actually. So you can imagine it created the story with people, with characters who have like a bio, who have a personality, and the evidence that should be found in the murder story, that the clues that you need to collect as a player. And the first step, the first 3 items, that's just text, and it already created now the database entries. So now we already have a basic model, and we could even open the draft story. And the next step is the step that brings it to life, to makes it more interesting, creating images. There is it uses the API of Google Gemini, and it creates an image for every person, for every character, like one main image, character image, and then for all the evidence that was collected, like you will see there is like paper documents, there is objects being found, so there's a variety of evidence that you unlock during the game, and it creates all these images automatically. And later on, it will also create voices that makes the experience even more immersive. That some of the texts that were generated earlier on, for example, a witness statement, when a witness who saw something explains what happened, it creates the text. It already created that text, what this person is going to say, and then using ElevenLabs API to pick a voice. Actually, it picks a voice that more or less matches that personality, the age, the gender, the maybe some accent even, and then it reads the text aloud. So then you experience it even more within the game. So basically, the main AI models and APIs that we are using is Lovable AI that is built on Claude, then Google Gemini, and ElevenLabs. The next one thing I haven't integrated yet is video generation. That is also possible, but yeah, one thing at a time.
Okay, and how this is going to be difficult to maybe quantify or explain, but just so people have a sense, when you built the first backend, you call it the backend, like the infrastructure, the engine that generates the stories that we're looking at here, how much prompting or context or time did it take to get, let's use the ElevenLabs component. How much effort did it take to make sure that every time you generate a story, it's going to process that correctly? Or have you built in like loops that are going in and checking? Have you built in a bunch of just very specific prompts that make sure they use ElevenLabs correctly? Or what does that infrastructure look like?
Well, the first thing is try and error. A lot of try and error. I created the first stories and I didn't like what I saw, and then I refined the settings to the instructions, and Lovable helped me a lot to build that whole backend where it's it it's quite easy now to give to refine instructions. I think now during the creation there is not too many loops or too many checks anymore. There is quite a lot of instructions what not to do or what to look for, and these master prompts are also now exposed in the backend, so I can refine the main master prompts. For example, the style of the images. That's even something I made configurable, that there is different image styles. I played around, and you can even create a story in an anime manga style, because somebody told me that would be cool, and I thought like, yeah, why not? We can also integrate that. So you can play around with the base main instructions, and as you saw before, when I create the story, I can give more instructions. So I can adjust and say like I want kind of this style and that style, and then you have to imagine that the whole creation can be broken down into um, at least 10 different components, where first, as I told you, first the story is created, then the characters, then the images, then the voices. So it's step by step building on top of each other, and breaking it down like this, that ensures absolutely that there's dependencies. Like, for example, the voice is dependent on the character. Uh, the character has to exist properly before creating the voice. And if I see that the model is not working well, I can also do it manually step by step instead of having everything together like it is doing right now. So we will see in the end. I found that there is still some mistakes. There's always room for error. So I have to do quality check and always make sure that the output is kind of correct. But I would say 99% is there. And I did a lot of tests myself, and then I found out that there's some examples like it picked the wrong gender, so the image and the voice were not matching. So then I had to add like a database entry. When it creates the story, it has to define the gender, and then everything following is using that field in the database, that definition, that to make sure that it's always the same gender, the same person. And speaking of iterations, it took me not extremely long to build this, but still it was quite some effort. I think I took it took me more than 2,000 instructions to like instructions for AI Lovable to adjust and refine and improve the whole model. So it's quite a lot of iterations and the quite a while to get to this level of complexity that we have now. With just building a game, I've done already with a fraction of that amount.
Yeah, uh, so how could you share? Because I think, yeah, I think most listeners probably, there's such a range of magnitude of how much time they spend on their vibe coding projects. It's good to get some kind of benchmark. Are you able to share how many credits, total cost, prompting, total time, any of those metrics that you're willing to share about how long it took to build this infrastructure?
Yeah, so rough numbers I can definitely share. I think it took me more than 2,000 prompts to get to this point. And I also analyzed how much time I spent on myself, not just on AI, but also the idea and discussing it also with my sister and testing it myself. So I spent about 200 hours across 2 months. So I think it's not crazy much. And I spent maybe 6,000 credits on Lovable. It's pretty much, but given the the entirety of the product, I think it's reasonable. And I spent less than $2,000 in all overall AI costs. So and I would say the result is, if you compare it with if you hire a team or an agency or so, I think it would take maybe close to a year to build something and maybe $100,000. Uh, I think the comparison is quite extreme. Like if you think of building this yourself without vibe coding and any AI.
I know it just depends on your perspective, right? Some people hear that 2,000 prompts and they think, wow, that's a lot of messages back and forth, and that seems like a lot. But you know what? I think once I see the game and how, I know I've mentioned this again, but just to make sure everyone understands, the game itself, it looks like it just got built between when Adrian started talking about it and now. Everything that he talked about, those 2,000 prompts, refining everything with ElevenLabs and all of the other tools that are being called, those are all foundational to make it easy to generate each individual game. So am I right? Is the game ready? And maybe we could take a peek just so people can see the quality level that we have here.
Yes, absolutely. The game is ready, and I'm happy that it's picked exactly the place. Like this is actually the square in Lisbon, and this will be the cover image here of the murder scene. And before I show you the demo, one last peek, just to say, when I'm not happy with any of the elements, I can also I can rebuild, regenerate parts of it, of these components that I mentioned before. For example, now I open the cover image and I press regenerate, and it creates a completely different image. I could also give instructions to say what I want, but now I'm not sure. Maybe you tell me which is more appealing as a cover image. Charlene, pick
I
one.
like the I like the second one, I think.
The new one.
The one on the right.
Yeah, awesome. Then let's accept that, and then this will be the new cover image for that. Great. Then I have to activate it to publish it. It's not automatically published, and now we should be able to play it. Give me 1 second. I also add it to so that I will share a code with your audience that they can play the game themselves, and I'm going to activate this game that we just created for the audience. Okay, now I hope this is working because I'm doing it live. Okay, so now we are back to the starting point, and the code I'm sharing with your audience is agent AI. If you enter that into on the home screen, you have to register like with your email address, but then you can play it for free. And as you can see, the Lisbon algorithm is the new game is already there, and it's exclusive for Lisbon. So this can only be played in Lisbon, but the code also allows to play it remotely. So if you're not here in Lisbon, you can still play it from wherever you are. So let's start it. Let's play the game.
All right, let's
We have
play.
we have the loading screen with the image that was created. We have the first introduction with the cover, and here you can already see that we have a lead detective that is guiding you through the game, and you can also listen to what like she is explaining. She would be reading this text. And the main game is actually playing on the map. So you start the game on the map. This is exactly the square that we saw before. And when I press here, I see another picture of this place. And I can start the game. Starting the game means you get the first evidence, what happened. So you find some evidence and connected people. I press on the murder scene photo, and here you can see we have a victim that leans against the statue on that square. And this is connected to two people. The body of Dr. Alistair Vance. So Alistair Vance, I click on the name of this person, and now I see the portrait of the victim. And here this is super interesting. Now I can play. I hope the voice sounds good, but I'm pressing play for the voice, and you can hear what it generated.
Lisbon is beautiful this time of year, and this AI summit is the perfect stage to finally set the record straight about
Very
who
cool.
actually
So as you
built
can
the
see,
Oracle algorithm.
it created people. Here, the officer who found him is also there. It creates people, evidence. We have the map. All you need for a detective game in your city.
That's very cool. And I think, like we talked about,
So what
you've
else
been to hundreds of these
should we
cities,
talk
so it
about?
leans on your intimate understanding of these cities. Makes the game more powerful. I think that's one of the things that's really cool about this. And with everything people are building with AI is that it's not just something that they are totally vibe coding that they don't have knowledge of. It's actually something where they have a unique perspective or unique knowledge that they're incorporating into their projects. That's cool. I think let's leave the rest of the game for people to actually play themselves, and maybe let's talk a little bit about kind of your goals and ambitions for the project.
Yeah, absolutely. So the project itself is a collaboration of my sister, Natalie, who is working in Switzerland, and myself. And together we want to grow this product and game globally. I think it has the potential to become the next Pokemon Go. It could be really like could become a global phenomenon where in any city you can play these murder games. So I mean, being able to create new locations and new murder stories relatively easy. We have so much potential to work with this, and I would love to reach a point where we have like at least a million players. That would be my ambition for this product, and I also want to bring it to this adventure, this experience to many tier 2 cities. I don't think Lisbon really needs this experience. There is so many other offers in cities like that. But Charlene, you're right now. Are you still in Almaty in Kazakhstan?
Yeah, Almaty, Kazakhstan.
So I think to me, this is a tier 2 city, a lovely, wonderful place. And having been there myself, I know how awesome it is, and there is not as many offers available. I don't know if there's escape rooms by now or other city walks. So my vision would be bringing it to a lot of people that do not have access to these experiences in other major cities. And I would love to see a lot of players in places around the world in many cities and countries. So if anyone is listening to it and wants it in his own city place, then just reach out to me and then we can build it. There's also the potential for reselling it and building a white label stores or there's many possibilities what we could do with that.
Yeah, maybe if you don't mind, just for people that have their own ideas and they're trying to figure out how to monetize them or how to go to market, do you have a couple of or do you mind sharing just a few ideas you're exploring for how you can actually get people onto the game outside of, organic, them finding the game?
Yeah, especially for other AI developers who are building something. So the first step is clearly self-marketing. I created a shop that is not ready yet. So as for now, you can play it for free. Just go to the URL, enter the code, and you can play for free. And then soon there will be a shop for our games and cities, so that we can promote it ourselves. But I don't think this is the best way just for ourselves to find our clients. The next step would be these white label or reseller affiliate shops, so that we could create a shop for example, you, Charlene, if you reach a big audience and you have a specific niche, let's say a specific region or specific type of games, of mysteries, then we could build a shop that only has a selected list of games and locations, so that it caters your specific audience. I think when we talk about these global cities and regions, I would also like to work together with either service providers like a hotel or like infrastructure places, or even tourism boards. Like for example, Almaty, they make advertisement for their city. And why not talk with them and then get very, very regionally specific murder mysteries, define a few walking paths, and then create the storefront for them, so that it's their offer to their tourists and it runs through our backend. But basically, it could be their offer. So these branded or sub shops or reseller affiliate approach, that makes a lot of sense. And this is, I think, for AI, this is one of the the best things, because it doesn't take hours or it doesn't take a year to build a new game. It's just, as you saw, it's not that complicated. Maybe you need to tweak it to improve it. We haven't played the whole game, so maybe there is some flaws in it, some details that the AI model cannot pick up, especially with tier 2 cities. So we have to be careful about that, and maybe give the backend to the implementation partner who wants to have this game at their site, so that they can actually enter the story, fix the story, or create their own story. You don't have to use the whole generator. You can use parts of it and create your own story that you wrote yourself.
I think that's great. I think it's a great mission to help some of these amazing cities that you and I have both been to that maybe are not on the map as more commonly visited. So I think it's incredible. Also good context for people who are exploring ideas. So it's good to hear the white label example, organically getting people to play the game, and other things you're considering. So this is awesome. I think this is kind of a unique project that other people might inspire ideas in other people. So thank you for talking through everything and actually showing us a demo and building a game live. I thought that was fantastic. I really appreciate you joining us. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, thank you, Charlene, too. It was wonderful talking about this product. Yeah, there's one more thing I haven't mentioned yet. Basically, you can play this game for yourself, by yourself, just alone, but it's much more fun to play together. And even the code that you can use, Agent AI, if you enter that code, you can create a competition where you can invite your friends, so you can share the experience together. It works remotely, but it's much more fun on site when you're in the city itself. And then you can share the experience. And that is also, in terms of marketing, I think there will be another potential to promote it. It will be possible to create these events, these competitions. There is a potential for team events. At the moment, we support up to 100 players at a time. I hope the server will survive when it goes viral and a lot of people are playing it. But imagine, like, there's dozens of people playing this together, and you have the same starting point. Then you run around the city and you come back to the end point, and there you have the solution, and everyone is like comparing, oh, what did you find, how did you do it? And I think this is something very important. Also, when we talk about AI, in the end, we do it for the people, for the experience. The whole product would be kind of meaningless if people would not benefit from it and take something from it and as developers, as engineers, we have to create a positive experience and a positive impact on people and the world.
I totally agree. So I love it. Thank you so much, Adrian, and hope people play with friends and get to learn more about these different amazing cities in the world.
Thank you so much, Charlene. It was a pleasure.